or from Burketown, to Gulf of Carpentaria to Gulf of St Vincent, which is 2,400 kilometres away.
If Australia has a dead heart, it must lie here. In the driest of all continents, this vast wasteland of sand ridges and parched salt lakes ranks as one of the most desolate and forbidding places on Earth. Few animals choose to live here. Those that do use their wits to survive. For man, the ultimate challenge is to cross the desert on foot, carrying his own food, and like the Aborigines a century before him, find enough water to last the length of his journey. The journey won't end until he empties the contents of this bottle into the Gulf of St Vincent at Glenelg. To feel a nagging pain in his right knee. The injury would trouble him for the rest of the journey.
Camooweal in the first stage of the journey. That's been pretty good.
At Camooweal, Bartel picked up his handcart, which meant he could carry more food and water and relieve the burden on his back. Lucy Creek, Jervois, Atula, all cattle stations in the back blocks of the Northern Territory.
The odd vehicle, that was about it. And I carted water for the whole of that distance. It was a very heavy load. I generally start off just after daybreak. That's my normal day, and I finish just on
Springs School of the Air.
I've got a man walking across the desert.
A man walking across the desert? What should you have written, Baby Joe?
Oh!
You should have written, oh, you silly old sausage. Who did write?
Travelling in remote areas. Funding comes from public donations.
It was swollen, and I got some tablets to take for anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
So I think probably I'll just stick on those.
Week along a sandy track, which finally petered out at the boundary fence. This then was the beginning of...
You're very, very tired. I think one of those was yesterday, to be quite honest. I was looking at this big sandhill, which...
Task. In fact, Bartel had to give up the idea of taking a more westerly course.
Now, while I'm still well, defeat in my unaided crossing.
Salt lakes. The largest, Pirapirapulana, stretched for days beyond the desert walker's horizon.
I was going to walk away and leave him. That's the way nature intended him to die, but I just couldn't. I had to cut this one's throat. And suddenly the yellow daisies popped up, and how incredible, there in front of me, right along this sand spur.
The worst.
Come across some of the big salt lakes, which was a change, but still surrounded by sand dunes. And
Desert, Bartel again picked up his handcart for the final 900-kilometre push down through the South Australian Having spent 3 months...
Good morning, Adelaide, on this beautiful Sunday morning. Today, we welcome home Dennis Bartel. He's on the final leg of his Gulf-to-Gulf crossing. And at this moment, Dennis is walking through the city on his way to Glenelg. So if you see him, if you're out in your car, give him a good friendly wave and a nice toot. That's an absolutely wonderful thing that he's done.
And that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's always some further challenge, something extra that can be done, that needs to be tackled. And it takes heroic individuals to demonstrate to us every now and again just what that is all about. And Dennis, you deserve our highest admiration and praise for the great example you've set in your trek across this country.
I normally stand about 6'1" and a bit. Carrying some of the loads I have carried, I think I shrunk under 6 feet.
Really, my philosophy is quite simple. It's to be a participant, not a spectator of life and adventure. To be a winner. In other words, get in there and kick the hell out of life. You're going to be a lot better for it, and so too will this great country of ours.